Hey, what's up you guys? This is John Chacon coming at you with another instructional video, this time on the Kettlebell Goblet Squat. This is a great start to squatting with weight after you've mastered the body weight squat and you found a good position for your body, and before you move into something like the front squat or the back squat with the barbell. This is a great transitional tool. What I won't show you is how to perform a double kettlebell front squat. This will provide you the basics for that. The nice thing about the goblet squat is that weight is centered on your body and it's slightly in front of your chest, which for most people, that extra counterbalance, if you will, since it's slightly in front of your center of gravity, is going to allow you to squat really deep and really well. If you're not able to comfortably squat all the way to the ground with weight yet, you can try starting with a box underneath your butt so that when you sit down, you're not really going a full range of motion, but you have something underneath you to catch you so you can drill those mechanics. I will say this before I get into the goblet squat. Everybody squats differently, okay? I don't know how many books you've read where they say you have to have your toes straight ahead, your knees have to go out, and everything has to be fine. There are some basic guidelines, guys, that we want to avoid. We want to avoid the knees caving in. We want to avoid the heels coming up. We want to avoid the shoulders coming forward or the back rounding. Those are basic things that everybody can use and avoid, okay? But when it comes to specific width of the feet, or whether they should be pointed out or pointed in, or maybe feet are staggered, everybody's going to feel better in a different position or feel more optimal. If you don't take the time to find out what position works best for your body, you'll probably be working in a position that just you hate, and you'll do it for 2, 3, 4 years and wonder why things aren't progressing very well. Take the time to learn how your body moves and how it functions. I'm going to go over some of the very basic things that will help you complete a better goblet squat. You can use goblet squats for strength training days, conditioning days, whatever you want to. The great thing about the goblet squat is that weight usually stays pretty low, but it just feels so good on the hips and the legs with the kettlebell. Now, goblet squat, we're going to be holding that kettlebell right here. We're going to be holding onto the handles structurally. We're going to avoid holding it out in front or having our elbows out to the side because that's just not smart. We want to rely on our bone structure like our forearms, elbows, rib cage to work for us so that we can focus on more important things like our glutes, our hamstrings, our quads, allowing our hips and legs and knees, everything to do their work. Now the first thing I have to do with this kettlebell, which most people don't talk about, is I actually have to get it up to this position. I don't want to just bend over, grab it, and kind of weasel it up here. I'm going to structurally start off just like I would for a squat, but I'm going to explode up and extend my knees and hips almost from a deadlift but into a clean and bring this kettlebell up to the goblet position. Bring it in nice and tight, and I'm going to emphasize this. With this variation, I'm actually going to have that kettlebell centered between my feet. You see from the sides, I'm going to line up this handle with about the center of my foot, not in front, not behind. From here, as I look down at it, I'm going to set up my knees and hips first. I'm going to spread the floor with my feet, lower my hips with a nice flat back. I'm going to reach down, grab the center of the handle, wrap my thumb and fingers around. I'm going to bend that kettlebell handle backwards so I can externally rotate my shoulders and bring my upper arms tight to my rib cage. I'm going to lower my hips, take in my belly breath, explode up, explosively extend the hips and knees, shrug the shoulders. I'm going to grab this kettlebell as low as I can on these handles. I don't want to hold it up here. I want to hold it in nice and tight. I'm going to tuck my elbows in. My forearms are vertical, okay? From here, I can hold this sucker here all day. It's not hard. If my elbows are right here, you better believe you're going to get tired after 2 or 3 reps. Tuck those suckers in and find a spot that works for you. Keep that kettlebell close to your body. From here, find your squat position. I tend to feel best about a shoulder width stance with toes slightly out. That just fits my hips best. After all my injuries over the years with sports and stuff, it just fits better for my body. My ankles, my knees, my hips, everything. First thing I'm going to do while keeping my hips extended, I'm going to take in my belly breath, and I'm going to do 2 things simultaneously as I lower myself to the ground. I'm going to spread the floor with the feet, driving my knees out as I push my butt back and down. It'll look like this. I'm also going to be maintaining chest up position. I'm going to come down until it just feels natural as I keep my heels down on the ground, and then come back up. From the side, Again, hip extended position, taking my belly breath, butt back and down, shins are almost vertical, nice upright torso, come back up. When I'm done, I'm gonna bring it back down to the hips first, and then reverse deadlift, hinging at my hips, flat back, lowering it to the ground. Now, with the kettlebell goblet squat, common things I see. Number one, not getting into a good starting position. You wouldn't believe how much having your elbows out or having your shoulders too rounded forward or having the hands in the wrong position can screw up the rest of the movement. Why? Because your mind starts focusing on holding onto the kettlebell the right way. So then your hips, your knees, your ankles, everything starts getting in the wrong direction or moving in the wrong direction, and your body's not working the way it's supposed to because you're not paying attention. Get your hands in a good position. Next, explore your business. Move your feet in different positions, try different things. I've even seen some people can do well with a staggered stance, one foot slightly in front of the other. There's no standard, or I guess there's a standard, but there's no like way you have to have your feet exactly. Everyone's different. From people that have incurred injuries in sports, women that have given birth, their hips have shifted, those kind of things. There's so many things that can dictate how your ankles, knees, and hips move, or how your spine moves with your hips. All these things matter, so find what works best for you. As you lower yourself, try not to let yourself just drop into it. Get used to the movement. Start with a lighter weight. Last thing I want you to do after doing a regular bodyweight squat and mastering that is taking a kettlebell and just dropping into it. Chances are you're not going to be able to control it. You're not going to be stable with your ankles, knees, and hips, your shoulders, your back. Something's going to crumble, something's going to get tweaked, and you're going to get injured. Use the kettlebell goblet squat as a tool throughout the rest of your fitness journey. Whether you get into the barbell stuff like I like the deadlifts and the squats and the bench press and stuff, keep goblet squats in your toolbox, your tool belt, whatever kind of tool thing you have, and use it regularly. Let's say you've had like a couple months where you've just been going really heavy with your barbell movements. Hey, take a week off and just hit some kettlebell stuff. Hit some swings, hit some goblet squats, hit some clean and presses, hit some snatches. These things are going to keep you moving and keep you moving well. The kettlebell is great. It doesn't require a lot of impact, and you can't load it too heavy because it's just a kettlebell, okay? In our gym, we have up to 80-pound kettlebells. We used to have some 124-pound kettlebells, but you couldn't use those for too much other than a really heavy swing and some farmer carries, which was fantastic. But I don't recommend anything above that. For most people, women, they tend to be in the range most often when they start of 18 to 35 pounds. Men tend to be somewhere between 26 and 53 pounds depending on their ability as they move up. Once you get into that 62, 70, 80-pound range for the kettlebell goblet squat, it gets fun, okay? So explore your business, always get into a good starting position, clean it from the floor, don't just pick it up, clean it explosively, have everything tight, make that kettlebell part of your body. And when you squat, nice, smooth, controlled movement. Keep the heels down, find a foot position that works best for you, taking that belly breath before every rep, and come all the way up in between each one. This has been your kettlebell goblet squat instructional. This is John Chacon, stronger every day. Peace.